Hey, out there. It's me, your friendly neighborhood Doug. All I'm doing is printing napalm labels, or getting ready to anyways. I got stuff to do. Do. Gotta ship some books out so they'll get to you. I can't remember how to do stuff I need to do. Maybe I'm getting old and forgetful too. We got a Skinny in there. What's up, Skinny? What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? There's the link if you want to jump in. Talk about stuff. We got Michael on the chat and Dave. Dave says, hello, computer. Hello, computer. Imagine there's no banjos. Imagine just hip hop. Imagine you blow your brains out. Imagine you can't stop. Hey, you're killing me. Quit that. Quit that, you goober. Axel's sitting there licking his paws going, I can't stand it. You're driving me crazy. You drive me crazy. And I can't help myself. Links in the chat if anybody wants to jump on. This time I'm not actually packing books. I'm just printing labels. Getting these turds ready to go out. Stupid tape. Yeah. So there's Skinny. There's Skinny. What's up, Skinny?
Hello, computer.
Hello, computer. Computer. So what's going on, Skinny?
Nothing.
I seen that you angered the Lord of the Potato Heads.
Oh, yeah.
Having a crybaby fit about you.
Potato rice.
The more these people, the more they cry, the less I give two craps about anything that they're involved with.
Yeah, it was just silly. Like, granted, I was kind of like being a bit salty when I'm like, oh, how many years am I going to have to wait for the next book?
Yeah.
But it was just odd. He was immediately like, to hell with you. You didn't buy my book. And then some other guy was like, oh, yeah. Some other guy asked him something. Hey, I don't know. It was stupid.
Well,
I was like, what the hell?
He straight up blocked Zach for asking where his book was at and then tried to turn around and claim that he didn't.
Oh, yeah. That was a bit silly.
Man, that dude can eat a big fat piece of crap. How come everybody from Tennessee is a moron? I mean, I'm from Tennessee.
Now you are a moron.
Yeah, but you know what? Apparently I'm the only person that's actually from Tennessee that's a halfway decent person. Everybody else is some kind of crybaby weirdo.
Nah. Oh, Dave wants to know what happened. Okay, so I'll just give you the cliff notes here. Somebody, I think it was Pixel, had posted like a picture of Brand, and then he was like, yeah, and campaign for #2 is up and going, and yada, yada, yada. I said, how many? Or it's like, well, people have to wait years to get that one too, or something along those lines. And yeah, the potato decided to throw a shit.
Yeah. As he usually does. Look at all this. I've sent a bunch of books today. Woo! That's what I'm doing right now.
That's pretty damn sweet. Sorry.
People's gonna be getting these books pretty quick.
I got the corona.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
Oh wait.
My corona. Eric Hawkins says, I think I'm gonna start my campaigns for issue 3 and 4 and 5 when I launch issue 2. That's how you do it. Just launch them all at the same time. Just fulfill them whenever you feel like it.
I think I'm gonna launch a campaign for Otis Stein number 24 before I even launch the first book.
There you go.
Y'all are just gonna have to wait about what's 24 times 4, pretty much like 96 years.
There you go. I've already spent $75 shipping books today. I can do it all right here from my desk.
So what would you say was your average price for shipping one comic book with an ash can and a Gemini mailer?
It cost me $2.80 to send it media mail.
You hear that, folks?
On stamps.com.
160, right?
No, $2.80.
280. Okay.
Which it's went up. It was a little bit cheaper last year, but here recently it's just went up. So,
of course, you know, the chat's a little bit behind us, but Eric just asked if you use stamps.com or something.
Yeah, I use stamps.com. It's fairly easy. So, like right now, I've got my which you can't see it, but right here I've got my scale, and I weigh it. And once it weighs then I can print my label after I put my address and stuff in. It'd be nice if I had like one other person helping me, so I could move a little bit faster. But I think I'm going pretty good. I'm going to have 55 or 56 of these to drop off at the post office in the morning.
Huge Balls wants you to give his book a kiss.
I don't know which book is yours, but consider all the books kissed.
You need to get some really nice, just dark red lipstick.
I made a joke on my last stream about doxing, or the stream this morning about doxing people. So I was waiting for somebody to cut that out of the thing and spread it around Twitter.
Oh, yeah. No, they'll get to it eventually. They're pretty slow.
I think they quit watching my streams because there was so much nonsense that they got tired of sifting through it.
Possibly. Could you imagine there's guys actually out there who just like watch streams of people they hate just looking for that out of context thing?
Pando was doing it. He was watching my streams to cut out like 30 seconds worth of nonsense to try to get, oh, look what Doug said. It's like, that doesn't even make any sense.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, are you...
They did something really stupid, too, in my opinion. I just think it's hilarious. Because it's just so, like, beta, gamma, what's the zeta? Let's say zeta. Let's go all the way to the end of the alphabet.
All the way to the bottom.
All the way to the bottom. You're the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. But anyways, like, you remember that video where I was pissing on the ashes?
Yeah.
And I had, like, the Battle Hymn of the Republic playing in the background?
Yeah.
They, like, zoomed in on my bathtub, and there's, like, this one line of kind of grit in the tile. They're like, your bathroom's filthy. What?
That just shows you that they're...
and then, like, they zoomed in on the toilet bowl, like, while it's full of ashes, and there's, like, these kind of muddy ashes all over the toilet bowl. Well, I'm like, of course that's dirty.
That's where the poop goes.
That's where the poop goes. But, yeah, it was like...
Dude, that just shows you that they're autistic.
It's like... Now I understand why these people call John Del Rose a white supremacist. Like, these guys have no concept of the things they're saying.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, like, it's ridiculous. You know, I feel bad. Um, Crypto has been sharing lots of Gail Simone stuff, so I started following Gail Simone. Um, she just seems like a really nice lady, and
Eh,
I don't really know, but you know what? I took what was said that I shouldn't like her and all this crap, and she's a bad person and all this crap, without even looking or giving her a chance. And she might be a big poop head or whatever, but I feel stupid for not ever looking to find out for myself.
yeah, I mean, I've done that. I'm not against Gail Simone by any. I haven't really interacted with her, but I do know the last few books I read of hers were just total poop.
Yeah, and I
And
mean they might be poop, but I've not seen her treat anybody poorly.
no, but that's also, I don't know. That's a tricky one there because I have seen things. But on the flip side, I've heard really good things too. Like Kyle, we've had him on many times.
Yeah,
Didn't he say that Gail Simone helped him propose to his now wife or fiance?
I
Um,
don't remember. I know that he has very
he's always spoken very highly of
yeah
her. I think that's
quite
what
a
it was.
few times he has gone out of his way to talk about how he met her in real life and she was really cool to him. So
Yeah. I guess everybody can be a turd on Twitter. I mean, even I do it.
they can be a turd, but like the dude today going after you. Why in the crap should he be streaming about you or replying to your tweets if he doesn't like what you say? Why doesn't he just block you or ignore you?
Because he's an idiot.
To me, he's more at fault on that than you are because he had to. It's like he went out of his way to find out what you were saying.
Yeah, but then he just like told me to shove things up my butt and to take the tampon out of my vagina or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, 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 dude. This
Yeah.
is not the correct area for middle school insults. And this guy's supposed to be a writer, and he can't even come up with a creative insult.
No, I don't think he wrote most of his book. I think it was an idea, and I think that's why it took so long. I think he had some goofy ideas and had to get somebody else to write the book for him.
Well, the really funny thing is like I pointed out that right now his second book has made like $62,000 less than his first campaign. And then he was like, "Oh, well, the other one's only been up for a couple of weeks. You're mentally challenged and yada yada." And then I dug a little deeper. Both of them, when they fulfilled, the first one was like 48 grand, and the second one was only like 12 grand. Barely, almost pushing 13.
And see,
I'm like, dude, that's like a 75% loss in profit. Like,
yeah. And that's something everybody can learn from. His loss has got to do with not fulfilling the book, not doing updates, and all this crap, and just constantly making excuses.
yeah, he went from November to January without a single update.
Yeah. And you people that's watching the stream, we don't usually sit and rag on people. We might talk a little bit, but these indie comics guys doing this crap are giving everybody a bad name. Look right here, packing up books. These books were finished.
You just dox that person.
Did I really?
I couldn't read it.
Did I show the address
on the camera again? But
sorry, whoever it was, I didn't mean to dox you.
Somebody's gonna do a coach stream now.
Yeah, probably somebody will get on there and look. I didn't even notice I held it up that way. But what was I saying? Book's already ready to go. No excuses. People don't need to be crowdfunding books that aren't even written. Books the script should be written, and at least most of the artwork should be done before you ever even think about crowdfunding anything.
And we practice what we preach too, man. Like, aside from like Well,
I learned a big lesson on Legends of the Lone Wolf.
that one, I don't fault you for that one. And it's not. I'm not saying that because you're my friend either. Anthologies get a little slack because you got to think you had what 7 or 8 different creative teams, and
Yeah.
you had to like wrangle them all together. Odds are one of those people is going to screw up. That's just life. That's not something you can necessarily control.
That's true.
But when it's your book, you're completely in control of it. But yeah, like Otis, that's going to be 100% done. It's going to be lettered, formatted, everything. I'm just going to wait a month to fund printing and hit the button.
Yeah, that's the way I'm doing Lone Wolf issue 2. It's going to be done. Just, that's the way Six did this book. It was done. And, it's supposed to ship out by April. Well, it's April. It's April 7th. And they're shipping out. So
Yeah. But one thing that I get asked sometimes, Doug, is they're like, why do you rag on these other guys? And honestly, it's like you can go back and look at some of the streams that I've done or that Ralph has done, and you can see people who genuinely, who just got pulled around by their ding-a-ling, by this creator after they gave him their money, just jerked around all over the place, and ends up saying, I'm not going to back any books ever again.
Yeah.
That hurts everybody. That's why I do get salty about it. Because
see, and I don't know about you, but I get upset when somebody's like, well, these crowdfunded guys are a bunch of idiots. And it's like, well, I crowdfund. I try.
Well, you're an idiot.
Well, that's true. But I try to do the best I can. I treat everybody the same. And I get tired of getting thrown in with those guys who are a bunch of jerks who can't get their stuff done and want to treat everybody like crap.
Yeah.
It gets old.
It does. And if you screw up really bad, like making your customers nearly wait 2 years for one book, and somebody, kind of rags you on it a little bit, you have no defense to make. Just own that crap.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, I did screw up, but this time I'm not. That's what I even pointed out to him. I'm like, instead of calling me a concern troll, why didn't you just say, I screwed up, but this time I'm not going to, and here's why. But no, there's none of that at all. It's just, oh, you're a troll.
Yeah, people can't take responsibility for. And I mean, like, I've been super honest, and like we were saying, you can give anthology some slack, but I have been super honest about the whole thing and letting everybody know exactly where it's at and all this crap. It's not that hard to do. And the thing is, if you're honest, people will cut you some slack.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
But you have to treat your customers like customers, Doug.
Yeah. You can't just say, somebody asks you just block them and then claim, well, they blocked me first.
It's kind of like having this one guy tell you, like, oh, hey, anytime you're moving or whatever, just call me. And then you call them and they never answer the phone.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it. That's how a lot of these guys are treating these backers, and it's disgusting.
Yeah. If you ever need anything, call me. I won't answer, but you can call. Oh, man. I've got a lot of these ready to go. I can't wait to have these done.
I see where it looks like a certain chicken book is going to make it into a certain store before backers even get it.
Well, good. I mean, shame. I got my digital chicken book. It was a different chicken book, but you can imagine.
Yeah, did you read it?
Yeah.
How was it? I'm curious.
It was just a fun Saturday morning type thing. Like, it wasn't dark. It wasn't like overly dramatic. It was just a goofy, fun superhero story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but did you enjoy reading it?
Oh yeah, I got a good chuckle out of it.
Okay. That was Pink Puma and the Red
Hey,
Rooster.
Red Rooster. I totally didn't expect it to be like that. I'm just gonna let it. Wrong button. If there's anybody that wants to jump in here with us, like
I think Tim should jump in here.
yeah, like
Because he's
Tim.
also fulfilling his book, or he just wrapped up. I don't know if he's still shipping stuff out.
Let's see.
If not, we're just going to ban all the Chinese people off this channel.
That's right.
Y'all can blame Tim.
All Tim.
We got the transcripts right here. I'm writing it down.
That's right. Got the Corona scripts right here.
That was a good stream we had earlier today too. I enjoyed that one when Cassidy popped in. Sorry I bailed out. If anybody's watching who was like, where the hell did Skinny go? I don't know. How the hell with it. One of my managers, his wife turned out to have contracted Corona. They said she had I don't know. They said she was basically a carrier.
Mm-hmm.
So like the other manager was like really irritated. He's like, why the hell did you come to work if your wife got? And he's like, you just need to leave. And he like pointed at the door. And the guy still had like a radio and everything on him. And he's like, no, just leave him outside. And we have to like go outside with the grocery bags and stuff and spray it down. And yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, somebody at my job is having to take on duties they're not necessarily familiar with. So I got a phone call from that person. So I had to bail. So I could walk things through the phone. I should get paid for that. What do you think, Doug?
I think you should.
I think I should too. The company doesn't think I should, though.
If they call you while you're at home, I'd write down my time. Be like, hey, I had to deal with work crap on my time, and this is for how long, and you have to pay me. You got proof of the time because it's on your cell phone, the call length.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was like 5 minutes, I'd make them pay me. Or that way I would make sure that they left me alone. I used to have staff call me like every day I wasn't working at the house I worked in. And I finally stopped telling them. I was like, am I working? They're like, no. And I was like, well, then why are you calling me and asking me about work stuff? I was like, if you can't do your own job, I said, go home and I'll come on in and work. I said, I ain't working from home.
Yeah, one of my subordinates is, he's not legally retarded, but I'm pretty sure he's right there at the line. He's just normal enough to not be considered retarded by the state, but this guy calls me all the time. I don't even answer his phone calls. Like, he just always, and every time I answer, I'm like, why aren't you calling the store about this, man? One time I yelled at him. I was having a good dinner with my wife and the parents and stuff. And it was actually, we were having a really good night. I had a few drinks, keyword, few drinks. And then he called and, I screamed at him and stuff.
I'm not at work. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I know, right? He's like, hey, can I come in tomorrow? I'm like, I'm not even working tomorrow. I'm at home right now.
Yeah.
I thought about blocking his number, but I'm like, well, if poop really hits the fan one day and he's having to call out or he's having car trouble or something, I do want him to get in touch with me. I do check his voicemails. I just never answer the phone. I screen them.
Oh, man, I hate voicemails so bad.
Remember, you probably remember, you remember screening anybody using an answering machine?
Nah, we never had an answering machine. We had caller ID.
I remember when caller ID first became a thing. That was so cool.
Yeah, I remember like it finally become affordable, and Dad got it. And certain people call we would never answer.
One of the things that I don't think a lot of kids are gonna understand at all today is like when I was growing up. Eventually, my parents had ended up having two phone lines for the house. One specifically for the internet because they got
Yeah.
so tired of loading up a page and getting booted off. That was before they had the hang up feature. That was pretty cool too. Like I don't know if you were using it, but they ended up changing it to where on American Online or whatever, it would actually like pop up on the computer. You want to accept this call and get kicked off the net, or do you want to say to hell with this person? We all know what we all chose. To
Well, see,
hell
on mine, it would just ring here. It would just ring. We got Ash and Jackal in there. It would just ring and say it was
with
busy.
no.
What's
I
up, buddy?
throw up my hand when I don't have my camera.
I just wanted to come
got
in
my
here.
camera off so I can pick my nose and stuff.
Wanted to come in here real quick. I don't know. Have you guys been up on this stuff going on with Donnie Cates today?
No.
I have no idea what's going on with Donnie Cates or any of that shenanigans. I'm so confused by all of it. Like, did he
there was
get
this
yelled at for saying Excelsior?
No,
I don't know.
apparently he called EVS and EVS recorded it or some kind of crap.
Yeah, it was on a live stream. He put him on blast, put him on speakerphone, and this guy. Let me tell you something. This guy is somebody I supported for years. Okay, I financially supported him. I followed him. I always because he was always a very professional person for a long time there. I always gave him props for being even and all that kind of stuff. And then he went on this whole big tangent one day about how if anyone likes EVS, they're a Nazi and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, Donnie, I've supported you for years, a lot of your fellow creators and everything like that. I like him as an artist. I think his art's okay, and you don't have to. That's perfectly fine. You know, I'm not particularly going to go out of my way to financially support him any longer or anything like that, but I don't think his art's half bad. And so, bam, I get blocked and I get called a Nazi and all this kind of fun stuff. So that's how he treats the people that have been dedicated to him for all these years and everything like that. And seeing him calling up EVS and, getting EVS to try and call off the dogs and stuff like that. It's not him. Here's the deal. You could view EVS as sort of a beehive. He's got a bunch of bees living in him. And when you kick the beehive, it may upset a lot of people. But there are many beehives that he is fucking pissed off. People that have nothing to do with Comicsgate. And man, like just hearing him acting so pathetic and everything on the phone like that, it's just it infuriates me still. Like he has no idea. He thinks he could go to one person and then everything's going to be okay if he settles things with this one person, He doesn't think of us as like individuals. We're not a hive mind like his people are.
Well, actually, Comicsgate is a hive mind. And I'm sorry if it offends anybody, but I've been treated worse by Comicsgate than I have by people that called me Nazis. The only reason I ever got called Nazis was because I was backing up a bunch of jerks. So I think they're all the same thing, and they can all kiss my butt. EVS, Donnie Cates, all of them.
Yeah, something about the big creators. I don't know what the deal is. And, let's not forget, just a short time ago, he's like saying, oh, well, you guys can mind your own business and this kind of shit. He went out of his way to try and cancel Sean Gordon Murphy just a short time ago.
Yeah.
By the way, I know a lot of people probably hate him now because of what happened with Bigfoot Bill and all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. I understand. I hold grudges too. But
I'm mad about it. But I will say that, that beef is settled between Doug and himself. They're still friendly with each other as far as I know.
Yeah.
That's their beef. It really has nothing to do with me.
But I just wanted to let you guys know too, Sean Gordon Murphy, he's started up a YouTube channel. So if you guys are interested in hearing whatever he has to say, and like I said, it's perfectly fine if you don't care, but I still like him as a creator. So
yeah, I don't have a problem with him, but I just don't
hear what he has to say though.
I just don't have an interest in any mainstream comics right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. He's going in like we predicted. He's going in for a crowdfunded project here shortly. It seems like. So I don't know, but yeah. So there's that. But I don't know. Today has been a real roller coaster. This whole evening, I found out about this thing, and it just pissed me off because this guy.
Yeah, I seen that somebody posted it, and I was just like, I was like, I don't even want to watch this. I don't even want to know about it.
I don't blame you for wanting to like not deal with the drama, and I'm sorry for bringing it here. But like,
no, dude, it's all good.
who else do I got to talk to about this kind of stuff? My wife doesn't give a shit about. I mean, my wife doesn't give a crap about comic books. You know, I got to get my nerd rage out.
I know what you mean.
I try to keep my channel a pretty chill place. I don't try to go on there and do like those, clickbaity, somebody did something kind of a thing videos. I don't like doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
When I get to talk to a few people, it feels good to kind of get it off my chest.
Jeremy Lott says he hates Donnie Cates' hair.
Well, he did have pink hair at one point. I don't know what he's sporting currently.
I don't like stuff like that either.
I'm sorry if I broke up the conversation.
No, you're fine.
Nah, you're fine. In other news, I finally started watching Letterkenny dub.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I binged the first like 3 or 4 episodes. I had to pull myself away just to get on this stream.
I think it's pretty good. I still think Trailer Park Boys is better, though. To be fair,
Like a crossover, that would. Could you imagine Wayne kicking the crap out of Ricky and Julian?
I don't know if my mind can comprehend like a crossover. Have you ever watched Trailer Park Boys or Letterkenny, Ashton?
Ah, man, I like as far as that kind of stuff is concerned. Like I pretty much kicked off with Jackass. I mean, that's kind of similar in some ways, but after Jackass, I kind of stopped out of reality, that kind of television where people do crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Well, it's not reality. It's just
it's a fake. It's a fake. It's like they took The Office, pre-Office though.
Oh, so it's not real life. See, I had a whole misconception. I thought it was literally.
No. It's they pretty much they did what The Office did before The Office.
Well, maybe I'll check it out now.
It's just about him living in a trailer park though and being trailer trash.
I like from how everyone was talking about it, it sounded sort of like Jackass, but like kind of done up like a reality show. So I didn't really know what was going on with it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain how it works.
Yeah, it's just a mockumentary in a way. The way it's presented.
But if you ever get a chance, check it out because it is pretty funny. And Letterkenny is just kind of like it's just a sitcom pretty much.
It kind of feels like a Trailer Park Boys spinoff in a way.
Kinda, because it's just weird Canadians.
I've been watching this one show. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It was called Night Flyer.
I've heard of it, but I've never watched it.
It's actually done by George R.R. Martins, who also did. He wrote the Game of Thrones books. And he's still writing them, but it's about basically like Earth is dying, and our last hope is to go out to these aliens that are passing close to our solar system, but nobody's ever gone out this far before. So it's basically the mission of this crew trying to go out there and make contact. But these aliens are like well above anything we could understand, and crazy, weird things start happening in the ship. And there are things already going on in the ship, and then the aliens are also causing strange events to happen. Like they send this probe that went way out into far space. They send that and they teleport it onto the ship. But the probe, when they start to dismantle it, is made of flesh and blood and muscle and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, man.
And it turns out like they used the genetic material of one of the crew members. So basically this was sort of a clone of him or something. It was really strange. But it's an excellent show. But man, there was this one episode, and I wouldn't have felt this bad if I wasn't a parent. But there's this one episode where this devastating stuff happens to this family, and I haven't gone back to watch the show since. It's like 2 episodes from the end, and I was like, no, man, I can't watch it again.
I like sci-fi stuff quite a bit. That's probably my favorite genre of anything is sci-fi.
Well, you might like this. You might like this show. It's really well fleshed out. But the acting is great. The crew member works well, and I'm not a big fan of drama, but they do have a little drama in there. But it really is quite interesting seeing this mission and how they present all the characters. And in the future, there are these people that are like psychic, and they decided to bring one of these psychic people on board, but they almost treat them sort of like monsters because everyone's terrified of the psychic person because of the things they could do. They could just kill somebody with their mind. But they may need this guy who's a psychic in order to communicate with the aliens, since we don't share any kind of common dialogue or anything like that. But yeah, it's a great series.
Sounds interesting. Like I heard, have you ever watched The Expanse?
I've heard really good things about it, and
that's me too, but I haven't sat down to watch it.
Yeah, everyone says that show's really incredible. I watched this guy. I don't know if you heard of him. His name's Doomcock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Doomcock, and him and Nerdrotic always talk about how it's like the best series ever. Well, at least with how modern sci-fi is, it's a really great series. But I just haven't gotten a chance to sit down and watch it. It's hard sometimes, like getting things that both me and my wife will watch. So
yeah.
And then also we can only do it at late nights on certain days of the week because of the work schedule. Especially with like kind of, more adult themes, like I'm sure that is.
Yeah. Jeremy Watt says, how many packages? I just finished up number 56. So I've got 56 that are all labeled and ready to go to the post office.
So how many more do you have to go?
I have 72 more orders to fulfill. But that also includes the PDF. So let me take the PDF out of that. So about 60. About 60. So it's not bad.
Skinny, what's that show you've been working on? Something about like aliens and ghosts and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, I kind of believe.
Yeah.
With Mecca McCheese and Lorenzo. Doug was on the last one.
Yeah, that's where he saw my picture where I made my hat.
Yeah, I saw that you used that picture on the interview. I thought it was one of the most hilarious things.
I wanted something to be very, like people would look at that thumbnail and be like, I want to watch that.
Right. Yeah, but Doug's like talking about serious stuff, like about his family and everything, but you just see him in these aviators in full hat.
So what's going on, Doug? You got some experience with aliens or ghosts?
Not really.
How about you, Skinny?
I just like talking nonsense.
I don't know. An owl hooed one time out in the woods and scared the crap out of me, and I shot it on accident.
Oh, poor thing.
It's illegal to kill now, right?
Yeah, well, I think I've reached the statute of limitations because this was like 15 years ago.
You might be safe from the government then.
But I swear I didn't do it on purpose. It's just out in the middle of the woods. Walking around, and out of nowhere you hear "hoo-hoo-hoo," and you just jump out of your skin and just unload in that general direction.
I remember one night I was outside at night. This was when me and my wife first started dating, so like a million years ago. And I was at her house, and she would always tell me, she was like, "Yeah, man, the Jersey Devil's real. It's really out in those woods." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, honey." And so I'm sitting there one night. I texted her and I'm waiting for her to come out. All of a sudden, I got the windows down. I hear this like crazy ass scream from the woods. It sounded like a demon, like out of a movie or something. It was like high, like a heavy metal singer, like whoa, but then also low at the same time, like wah! So if you can imagine those two noises together. And all the hair on the back of my neck stood up, everything like that. I rolled up the windows. Nothing came for me, but then I went up to the door and I'm frantically knocking at it. I'm like, guys, let me in, let me in. And so they get to the door. I'm pale as a sheet. I had no idea what was going on out there. I heard like some kind of tree shaking, all this kind of stuff. And I get in there and I look at Eileen. I'm like, you were right. Something's out there, man. I don't know if you guys ever heard anything about that. I know at least Doug kind of lives in a more rural area.
Oh, yeah, we got all kinds of stuff down here too.
Got Jersey Devils running around.
Well, no, we have the Gator Man.
Oh, in your area, you got the Gator Man.
Every area kind of has their thing. If you really look at it, it's kind of neat. Like there's this one place called Crybaby Bridge, out off in the country by an old plantation. That's supposedly haunted as well. And there's this
is that one where if you put dust on the back of your car, you can see like little fingerprints?
But as it turns out, according to the internet, there's about probably 26 other states that also have a Crybaby Bridge with the same circumstances. I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird.
Wow, yeah, that's weird. That must be some kind of anomaly or something.
Like, there's a whole herd of ghost babies out there just causing a ruckus in half of the United States.
We've got this little tunnel, and as you're driving, I think out of it, or when you get close to you come out of it, you can put your car in park, or not in park, but if you put your car in neutral, your car will roll up a hill or some kind of crap like that.
That's weird.
And people claim it's like ghosts pushing your car out of the tunnel or some crap.
Yeah, like very helpful ghost mechanics.
Sounds like some kind of like Lovecraft physics going on there.
You guys are telling stories about scaring people or getting scared. One night, me and a buddy of mine, it's me and two buddies. We decided all these girls wanted to hang out, so we were going to all meet up, and we're going to go to a graveyard. Well, me and my buddy decided we was going to the graveyard first, and we was going to hide. And when they got there, we would jump out and scare them. So we get to the graveyard. We park the car down this road, like off to the side. And we get up in the graveyard and we like lay down. We're hiding. And we wait. Nobody ever shows up. And we keep hearing these noises. It sounds like people coming. We keep looking. Nobody's there. So we got freaked out. And we get up and we run screaming out of the graveyard. We can hear people, and we thought, well, that's not them. They're not coming. Where we can hear people like talking, and it's freaking us out. And we run off, get in the car, and drive away. And I call up my other buddies, like, "Did you guys ever show up?" It's like, "Yeah, we're there." They went to a completely different graveyard.
Wow.
So we heard something, and it freaked us out. I don't know what we heard, but
yeah. Well, I mean, like personally, I really believe in ghosts, and it's because. Like, I've had a lot of experience with ghosts, and you could say that's crazy or whatnot, but, like, there was this one ghost in particular. We called it the Ragman. We were moving. I had to move out of my grandmom's house, and I moved in with a friend temporarily, and we bought the place next to his because we were living in trailers at the time. And we were at his house, and as we were all watching television, there's a mirror next to the television. And all of us saw this black mass kind of go behind all of us and cross the room. And then later on, we were all on our computer. And the area was kind of set up like an L. And it just walked right by and everyone saw it. It was the creepiest thing. Like, it didn't even care. Like, are we bothering you? And so that was myself, my friend James, Eileen, and then his wife, James's wife. We all four of us saw this thing, and you think, okay, well, maybe that was just some freak occurrences. Well, when we moved over into the next house, that thing was all over the place all the time, and we had somebody who was a Wiccan, which is kind of like a I don't know, not a Christian, but they were kind of
the Wiccans
don't anything out of the place, and they go in there, and all of a sudden we hear a boom, and they come stumbling out of the house holding their nose, and they're like, I thought somebody was in the house. And we're like, why? What happened? He's like, door slammed in my face and nearly broke my nose. And so we never did get rid of it. We just eventually moved out of the area. It's so freaky. One time, my wife was, she went over to her friend's house while all this was happening. She went over to her friend's house and went into the restroom. Her friends, as soon as she comes back out, said, "Is the thing you describe the thing that's been haunting you? Does it look like this?" Apparently, it walked right through their house too. It followed her over there. It's some kind of like if you ever seen the movie The Grudge, it's crazy. It's something like that. Like you can't even believe this kind of stuff. It's real, but tons and tons of people saw it. So whatever.
That's crazy. There's a ghost story about a dude here. I'm actually going to put him in a Lone Wolf comic because it's kind of a local legend. But he murdered 2 people with a shovel, like just brutally murdered them. He was a big dude. He probably, I imagine when they talk about him, he looked like Kane Hodder, just huge. Yeah. Apparently, he murdered these 2 people with a shovel, and when they took him to hang him, they strung him up and dropped the thing, and the rope broke. So they get him up, string him up again, pull him up. He hangs there for a second. The rope breaks again. So they go to do it the 3rd time, and he tells them the 3rd time that he'll come back. And before he comes back, snakes will crawl out of his grave and all this stuff. So they take 2 ropes, and they hang him at the same time with 2 ropes, and he dies. And I think it was 100 years later, snakes were crawling out of his grave everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was the elementary school I went to, the graveyard was behind the elementary school, and it was the oldest graveyard in the town I live in. So there's his grave marker, you can barely see. It's just a stone. It's got his initials on it. You can barely see it. But
so what happened? Somebody was walking around out there?
Yeah, they could just see snakes coming out in the graveyard. Oh. There were snakes everywhere. And they actually called people from the University of Tennessee, and they came and investigated. We're trying to figure out why all the snakes were coming out of this grave.
Oh, man, that's crazy. Well, prophecy fulfilled right there.
Yeah. So I definitely want – I love stuff like that. I definitely want to tie it into a Lone Wolf story.
Skinny, you seen any gator people?
No, I mean, I've had a lot of scary experiences, but luckily they all involve the natural instead of the supernatural.
Yeah. I had... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, one night, out in high school, I was out in the apartment complex, and I was playing hacky sack outside, and it's the middle of the night, and it's what I thought was a big-ass dog started walking up to me, and I'm, shooing it off. I ended up, throwing my hacky sack and getting it right in the noodle. And I'm like, I don't want this animal. But as it's running away, I look and it's just this huge ass freaking mountain lion.
Oh goodness. And
then it darts off into the bush, and I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for him to ride and everything while I'm playing hacky sack. The whole time I'm this dude's gonna flank me. That's what he's going to do. He's going to come and get me. I've had weird stuff like that happen, but like I said, nothing to do with ghosts. I mean, I know a lot of stories. I'm always interested in that sort of thing. But
yeah, that's crazy.
You never experiences anything.
So you popped it in the head or in the side?
Yeah,
or something
I mean, it was dark. I couldn't tell. It looked like I hit it right in the head.
Well, you did yourself a favor then. You might have scared it off.
Maybe. Still scared the crap out of me though.
All right, guys. I'm gonna be heading off.
All right, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, no problem at all. I loved hearing these spooky stories, man. Right up my alley. You guys have a good night.
See you,
buddy. Ghosts and Cosby.
Yeah, I got rid of the Cosby. It's a little too scary.
Yeah, I think you were losing viewers from that one.
Probably. People's the pudding pops and the kids.
Earlier, Tim said that the ghost babies were the ones pushing the car.
Yeah, stupid ghost babies.
They need to get ghost baby jobs.
Just imagine when you say ghost babies, I imagine the Muppet Babies theme, except about ghost. Ghost babies. Do 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 do.
Well, I love that show growing up. I don't know if it's any good though. There's a lot of things I go back that I watched as a kid. And I was like, this is so cool. And I watch it today. I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Tim says, have you heard the story of the Long Boy of Tennessee? It's literally a ghost with a big dong. Never heard of it. I think you're just making it up. Where is the sci-fi image from? That one behind me? That's the bridge of the Death Star. Not the Death Star, but a Star Destroyer. That was my background for I Kind of Believe the other night. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
So are those ones that you packed up today ready to be shipped?
Oh, yeah. They've already got the addresses and the labels on them. So I just take them to the post office and they'll scan them in. And, which they all have tracking numbers, but I'm not sending tracking numbers out. But if somebody's comes up missing, I can go to stamps.com and look it up and it'll tell me where it's at.
Cool deal. Shame it couldn't tell you that mine was underneath that tree.
Yeah, it would just tell me it was delivered.
That was really nice.
Remember, I think I looked it up, remember?
Huh?
I think I looked it up because you asked me.
Yeah, I was like, hey.
And it was delivered.
Did you ever send me my book, Doug? Yeah. You're like, yeah. And the next thing I know, I go to pay rent. The landlord's like, yeah, I found this underneath the tree over the ways. I'm like, oh, crap. It rained a couple of times.
And I tell you, these right here I was doing today on that earlier stream, they didn't get the supreme tape job of the other ones. They're taped shut, and that's about it. I'm spending too much money on tape. But
you're not cutting corners, you're cutting tape.
Well, really, they're sealed up good because, it's got the cardboard and they're in bags and boards. So
I demand my mailer be made of tape.
I'll just take yours and just write the address on the back of it.
Oh, God.
I'll just print the label out and stick it straight to the cover.
I want to start calling you Doug Hicks.
That's right. Hey, at least I'm sending the book, so you don't have to call me Doug Tonio.
Oh yeah. No potatoes here.
No potatoes. Oh man.
Speaking of potatoes. Potatoes are awesome, man.
I streamed 3 times today, Skinny.
Yeah, I know. Let's see.
Metalhead says, I can't wait for my books. I'm glad that you're gonna like it. It's cool.
Oh, is Metal still in here? Hey, yeah. Dude, I just saw your message. Sent you an answer. I'd love to.
Try so hard. Why is a really terrible country music song stuck in my head?
I don't know, but imagine there's no banjos.
Well, we can't imagine that because there is.
It's easy if you try. You have to try, Doug.
I'm not trying.
No guitars around,
hey,
Doug.
Look who's in here.
I can't tell who's in here.
Tommy Book Hut.
What's up, boys?
Not much. What are you doing, Hut? Hey, look who's in here.
I can't tell who's in here. Oh.
What's going on, boys? What's going on?
Not much. Just I was packing up more books. I've got 56 books ready to go out.
That's great.
Got to drop them off tomorrow, and they'll be heading out to all the beautiful peoples in the world.
I can't wait to get my copy.
It's going to be awesome.
That is going to be awesome. This was an awesome campaign for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that ash can.
It's
I can't wait to see that.
It's nice to have a book completely done and not have to wait a year and a half, 2 years for it.
Oh, you don't want to wait like 4 years for it?
No.
Did you guys back Red Rooster?
I did, but I got a refund.
Oh, good for you. You don't want to. You're not getting that for a couple of years.
I bought the other Red Rooster, but Pink Puma and Red Rooster.
I can tell you who didn't get Red Rooster though.
Who's that?
Oh, Mark.
Poor Mark.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Write the name thing and not even get a copy of it.
Well, if he just didn't like the wrong tweets.
I know it.
Right. That's that's a sin.
And he's just being problematic. He's bringing it on himself. He deserves every bit of it.
Yeah, he does. He should never have done that.
No.
That's right.
When you like something like that, it is like, you should just, crawl under a rock and never come out.
Well, he was wishing for the downfall of the human sunbeam. Can't do that.
Well, he will do that himself. The Bunda Don't says, send me a link.
It's in the chat.
It was in the chat there, you poop head.
It's lousy rabbit.
I mean,
I think the corona's messing with his brain.
I just throw it in the chat. Anybody pops in we don't like, we'll just kick them out. Actually, we don't even have to let them in the show. They can just sit in the back room.
Right.
While we make fun of them. I can't wait to get my Common America, fellas.
Yeah, me too. Waiting to get that. I should be getting that at the end of the week.
Man. There's a lot of really good stuff going out right now.
Yeah.
Mainly Napalm. Now I'm just about to send out the digital version of Legends of the Lone Wolf.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe we've got it ready to go.
When's that going to be printed?
Probably. I'll probably get it printed as soon as I get done shipping all this stuff out, so I have somewhere to put it.
Right. That was pretty successful too. That campaign.
Yeah. I need to be more successful, make money.
Oh, it'll take time. You just got to keep at it.
Exactly. Michael says, do physical backers get the PDF too? Yeah. As soon as I get everything shipped out, I'm going to send the PDF to everybody. So, actually, just let me talk to Six and see what he says. We might just go ahead and send the PDF out.
Right.
We just want to make sure everything was, underway before we sent the PDF.
Hey, Skinny, how's your book coming along?
Oh, it's coming along. We wrapped up on page 10, so 11. So I'm just right at the halfway mark.
Are you going to do 22 pages?
No, it's going to be 24.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've got 10. So 2 more pages, I'll be halfway.
Who's going to print it for you?
I don't know what company we're going with.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to Doug about that.
Whoever we can find that's the cheapest.
Right.
But still delivers a quality book.
But they have to deliver it by stamping the address on the back.
That's right. That's right.
You're going to get your wife to scream at me if it comes in late?
Oh, dude, she's not just going to scream at you. She's going to stalk you, too. She's going all out.
See,
Marcho Grouch glasses set. In a trench coat. It's going to be epic. Your mailbox won't be safe.
You got to be careful up here in New York City, You can't just sort of walk around, aimlessly. Like if you're working, you have to have papers, If you're like an essential worker.
They're starting to do that here too.
Yeah.
But I've got my papers.
Yeah.
I don't need no stinking papers.
The funny thing is maybe I shouldn't say it, but now most of America knows how illegal immigrants feel. They can't go out. They ain't got papers.
I don't know about that. It's a little different here in New York City.
I was going to say that there's one whole town like 45 minutes from here that's nothing but illegals. What's up, Timothy?
It is all my favorite YouTube people in one place.
How did you get so lucky?
I don't know. I was just browsing through YouTube trying to find something to watch, and I was like, wow, Doug Garrett is broadcasting at an unusual time.
I've become the stream king today.
He's not. He's not floating out of space. He's in a ship now.
I'm in a ship.
Yeah, why are you in the Death Star or the Star Destroyer?
Get on my helmet too.
It's a Hershey's Kiss. Why is there a Hershey's Kiss on your head?
This is my I kind of believe hat.
I love that show. I was listening in a few days ago.
Yeah, it's a pretty good show. I'm gonna try to be on it again this weekend if they're doing it.
Oh yeah, it'll be on this Friday. Last Friday we actually had some connection issues, and I got frustrated, and I was like, "The hell with it."
Well, it worked out for the best because I fell asleep Friday night, but I was up Saturday night.
Yeah,
Is Ralph going to be there?
he might make an appearance at some point.
Good. I like him. I like Ralph.
Ralph's been kind of ornery lately. He keeps saying there's too many homeless orgies in the stalls.
Oh man!
But Ralph is getting his own little mini comic though.
He is. Oh yeah.
I got Fly Fox Pro. He's doing the art for it. He's already got one page complete. I said it's going to be 6 pages. It may be 6. He may want to do more pages. I don't know. We'll just have to play it by ear on that.
Yeah, the Corona Kings project that Six Scale kind of put together. There's a ton of people doing comics and stories and lots of cool free stuff for that.
Was that an anthology?
It's just we're doing a web zine. We're just going to make it free and let everybody just kind of get some cool stuff for free since we're all just chilling and in quarantine mode.
Yeah. You gonna break any mailboxes?
Oh,
Hey, I have a question for you. Down in Tennessee, do you use nails? Or do you use duct tape down there?
Well, only white trash people use duct tape on their the kind that marry like young girls and look
and pretend to be a therapist.
Yeah, there's no therapist here.
there's just a rapist.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I'm not even gonna say it.
That was a joke on Saturday Night Live with Alex Trebek. I'll take the rapist.
That's what I was thinking of. It's like that's therapist. It's a rapist. Oh man. So how's today been there, fellas? It's been beautiful here.
Oh, it was great. The weather was really good. I actually went out for a walk today.
Yeah, we had 70-degree weather here today. Maybe that'll burn the virus out of you.
We had a bonfire and cooked hot dogs and played cornhole, did all kind of stuff.
Cornhole?
Yeah, it's not what it sounds like. It's a beanbag game. It's beanbag toss pretty much. They call it cornhole.
So I think in every state in the South, they call it something different. Because in Arkansas, we call it bago.
Yeah. That's just because Yins is weird.
Well, both of them sound really weird. Bago.
They both sound pretty awful.
Yeah.
I knew I really hated to say it because, people going to say cornhole.
Are you tired, Doug?
Man, I'm tired. It's been a long day. I tell you what, guys, since I haven't been going to work and I get to sleep 14 hours a night, I feel fantastic.
Are your headaches better?
I haven't had any headaches. I've been having this problem where I get these real bad cramps in my legs and my back. And I honestly think it's where I was only sleeping 4 or 5 hours a day. Because I'd go to work and I'd come home and sleep a few hours and take a couple naps throughout the day, and that was all I did. And since I've been off and get to sleep every night, I feel great.
I was starting to worry about you when you would say on the Dougcast that you had these frequent migraines, and I was thinking to myself that they would go away when you got like a new prescription, because that typically is what happens. And when they started persisting, there was part of me that was thinking maybe it's because of a lack of sleep, because that's like a really common side effect that not many people know about. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, now I don't want to go back to work though. I think I'm gonna vote Democrat so I can get some of that free money.
It's never free.
No, the Hut knows. He's the only Yankee here.
Don't say that. I'm a Mets fan.
It's all right. I don't hold it against Hut. He can't help it. He's a good old boy deep down in his heart where it counts.
He's like our Hank Hill.
I don't know what that is, but I guess it's funny.
I tell you what, Hut.
That Hut ain't right.
Whatever. The Hut's always right.
The Hut is always right.
I was right before everybody else was.
This is
You
true.
were so right. You were left half the time.
I love it when people go, I just don't get the Hut. Where does he get the stuff? It don't make no sense. And it's like, if you saw half the stuff going on and you paid attention to what's going on, everything the Hut says makes perfect sense.
That's right. I could twist myself into a pretzel and I still get back to where I need to be. Like I'll start talking and then I'll start doing like a tangent that makes no sense, but then I think it's funny. and then I have it be part of the channel. Like Wiz Richie and all the different nicknames.
Oh, I had to tune out the other day when you kept playing Richard C. Myers' video where he's screaming about digital.
Oh my god. What a lunatic. I did it twice, I did it during the live stream and then I did it just a separate video.
Yeah, I didn't. No offense, Hub, but I didn't watch that video. I was like,
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. He is probably the most difficult person for me to analyze, just in terms of when he starts talking, because it's just he's all over the place, and I get a headache when I have to do a video with him when he's talking, because it's very difficult to go through it. I mean, really difficult.
Our viewer count's just like dropping. People's like they're talking about Richard. Sorry, guys. I've never been a big fan. I'm not a big fan of outrage and that kind of stuff. If you like something, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
I mean, I want to talk more about the industry, and I've been kind of doing that, But,
well, I noticed you've been doing a lot of reviews too. You've been doing like some classic comic reviews and stuff, and I like those a lot.
Yeah, I have the Mighty Thor that I've been wanting to do, that Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends did back in the 90s. Been meaning to do that. Been trying to figure out which book to review. So I've been going through that over the last couple of weeks. Because I got the whole run of that. It's about 60, 70 issues.
Did Tom DeFalco do that Spider-Girl series? Was it John De La Rose talking about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
He did that. He did Amazing Spider-Man in the 80s when they had the Spider-Man black costume running around. He created the New Warriors during that Thor run. And he's a great writer.
Like, see, I've got this right here. My mom, she works at an elementary school.
Right.
And they had these in a book fair.
That's a small book.
Yeah, it's like manga sized.
Yeah, it's the digest sized Spider Girl, and I think they used to make a lot of those.
Yeah, they did.
I had the Sentinel one, which was actually really good. The only problem is that the print is kind of small.
Yeah, but I mean, man, I love this. I fell in love with this character. I thought it was great, and Tom DeFalco did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's a great writer. You ever read the Fantastic Four? His run on that was really good.
I don't think I read that. And then I've got this one. I don't know. I think it's just a collection, but it's Spider-Man Team Up. Got a bunch of team ups with Spider-Man.
Right.
See, it's got the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
See, does Marvel make anything like this anymore? Like
I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, because this looks like something that should be in Walmart in the section, like the book section.
Right.
Put a $5 price tag on it. Get kids in the comic books.
Those are nice books, Doug.
Yeah, these are really nice. They're printed on nice paper, and it's perfect bound, even though it's little.
Is it color?
Yeah, the colors are really, really nice actually in this print. Which I'm on a green screen, so it looks kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But
Who's
it's
the artist on it?
On the Spider-Man team up, it's a bunch of different people. But on the Spider Girl, that's
Hi, Ron Friends.
I can't hardly see.
Oh, Ron Friends is a co-creator on that anyway. You know.
But I always love these. See, this is volume 3. I need to get volume 1 and 2 of this.
Look on Amazon. Those are probably easy to get. They're probably inexpensive.
Yeah, well, you can buy a lot of stuff like this on eBay super cheap.
Yeah.
That's where I get Doug Tenapple's books. I bought what was that one he's talking? Earth Boy Jacobus. It's like a 350-page book. I paid $3 for it.
Wow. I like to get it, but he said it falls apart.
Yeah, he said the binding on it was kind of crappy. That's why I paid $3 for it. It's like $3. I can read it if it falls apart. He was talking about crowdfunding it, so I'll just buy it again.
Right.
I like Tenapples enough to buy another.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I've talked to him a couple of times. Once on the phone, once on a private chat. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, that's like I've told people. I was like, I've talked to Doug many times behind the scenes and all this stuff. The dude is exactly who he says he is.
Yeah.
I mean, if
He's not
on a stream. That's him.
He's not duplicitous. I mean, Mark and I, the sad thing is this. So Mark and I do a lot of conventions. We've met a lot of like pros, and I would say 3/5 of them we've just been really disappointed in. Like we just came to the conclusion that most of them are mentally ill. There's just something culturally wrong about them. It doesn't even matter what side of politics you are. Like you're just wrong in the head. And so it's really refreshing when you do have a guy like Doug Tenaple who he's just a normal guy. Like the guy who's the entertainer is also kind of the same guy behind the scenes. Also, there's no real change in his character, and that happened to us too. Like it was like earlier this year there was some controversy involving like libel and slander, and people were like, "You need to get a lawyer ASAP, Tim, because this is bad, and you should take this guy to court." So I just reached out to Doug, and he was on like a kind of a hiatus at the moment. But I just reached out to him on Twitter, and I was like, "Hey, I don't know who's running your Twitter thing, but if Doug Tenaple could give me a call, that'd be great. Like, here's my number." And within 24 hours, he actually gave me a call, and we talked for like 3 hours, and he gave me good, solid advice, and it was so solid I took it. And he was right. He was like, "Just wait. In about 48 hours, it's going to breeze through, and it'll move on to the next thing." And sure enough, it did. But he didn't have to do that. He comes from like Hollywood culture, LA culture. But I think he's always been a good guy, regardless of the environment that he's been in.
My channel gets brigaded like once a month, and one of the times I was doing a live stream, got brigaded, and afterwards I told him about it. He's like, "Why don't we talk on the phone in a private chat?" And we talked for like almost an hour. And I felt a lot better after that. I mean, he's very good to talk to. That's why it's very infuriating when they go after him the way they do.
Yeah, and talk about being a homophobe and all this stuff. The man doesn't hate anybody.
No.
I feel awful. Like you talk about that, but yesterday, you know how like on YouTube when you're watching a video, if it's just like a random video you're watching, it'll like create a playlist based on what it thinks you might like.
Yeah.
So it brought up an old video where it was Doug and I think it was Dick Masterson, and they were talking, and Dick Masterson brought up Milo Yiannopoulos, and he was like, "Oh, I love Milo." He's like, "Don't get me wrong, I tried to like tell him the error of his ways, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention how much respect and admiration I have for him. He's one of like the top conservative pundits, I think, who has something to say that's worthwhile and we should listen." And I just thought to myself, like, this is like an older video, and this is all you have to know that he's not what people are saying that he is. Because if he were a homophobe, one, that he's right, that word doesn't mean anything. a phobia is literally like a disorder where you're irrationally scared of something. So that's, one thing. But the other thing is that the person who doesn't like gay people wouldn't credit Milo Yiannopoulos for anything.
Yeah.
And, here he is just flat out saying, like, I really like that guy. So, I mean, I don't know. It's disheartening when you look at the rigmarole and you look at how day after day there's some people who they don't know their history and they just repeat talking points that people told them. And I think that's just sad because it means a person's character, and they don't even question it. They just say it because it's just like rote gospel to them.
Well, me and Skinny was talking about that earlier about how, like, which I still don't know a lot about or anything, but I disliked Gail Simone just because of all the bull crap with CG, and I'd never even read anything or interacted with her anyway. I just wrote her off because I was like, because they all said to hate her. And that I saw today her post. I just went ahead and started following her just to see what she posts. I don't know if she's been rude to people or not or whatever, but I felt bad after reading some of her posts. I was like, I never even bothered to see who this person was. I just hated them because I was told to. And I thought that was really stupid.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in the comic book industry. You don't know that of what's been going on behind the scenes with certain creators harassing all these so-called SJWs in the industry. I think a lot of it, I think they've antagonized them to the point where they don't want to deal with anybody online. So at any point you say anything, they're overly sensitive about it.
Yeah. Well, I understand it. After getting harassed by the war campaign, you just get to a point where you don't want to have to.
You don't want to deal with it.
Anybody. And so I see anybody that's got a WC in their name, I block it.
Oh, me too.
I don't even want to deal with it. They can claim to be a good person. Who knows? They might be a good person, which I don't know how you could be a good person and associate with trash like that. But I'm not going to give them the opportunity. So I can understand why people would run blockchains. If you got somebody's fans coming at you constantly because they talk crap about you and send their fans after you, I can't really fault them for running blockchains on people. And they're saying something controversial. Everybody goes, Doug likes blockchains.
Well, it's kind of like, so Gail Simone, I met her once in person. She was really nice. Everyone, she has a nice personality, like when you get to talk to her. But it wasn't her. It was like Kelly Sue DeConnick. She said this thing that I think a lot of people thought was really rude. I know that Richard definitely like spent a whole video or two talking about it. But she said this thing where it was something to the effect of, if you don't like my product, then don't buy it. And I never really quite understood why that was like a controversial opinion. Because that's just, isn't that consumerism? Like if you don't like a movie, don't watch it.
Right.
I don't understand. And I think their argument was, no, you should make something that appeals to everyone. Like you shouldn't have to tell someone, hey, if you don't like my thing, don't buy it. You should try to persuade them to buy it. And I'm like, no, I don't see it that way. Like, for example, I had someone, I think 3 weeks ago, they were on Twitter, and they're not like a bad guy or anything, but they said something to the effect of, Tim, I want to back your book, but you haven't sold me on it. And I just thought to myself, well, if I haven't sold you on it, I'm not going to try because I've already done my best.
Yeah.
So there's nothing more I can reveal to entice you to get it. It's either you like it or you don't, and that's fine. There's no hard feelings about it at all. So I just never quite understood that mentality. But I think a lot of people latched onto that because someone told them that that's what you should think. And I'm like, look, I mean, I did work for Kelly Sue DeConnick. I don't like her politics. I don't like her stances, but even broken clocks are right twice a day. So just because someone says something doesn't mean that you're going through it with a fine-tooth comb and just saying that it's wrong because the person who said it is someone you don't like. That's ridiculous. And I think that's part of the hypocrisy that we're seeing, is that it's like, oh, look at this guy behaving badly. And I'm like, your buddy does the same things. And it's like the elephant in the room that you're not addressing.
Yeah, that kills me. But like I've told people, don't buy my book if you don't think you're going to like it. If it doesn't look like something, if you want to support me, you don't have to buy my book if it's not what you really want. You can you can support me just as much by sharing the link, uh, sharing my YouTube link, whatever. But if my book looks like something that you don't want and you don't want to spend money on it, you don't have to buy it. I want to make something people like, but I'm not going out of my way to make it. I hate to say that, but I'm making what I want to make, and I'm not really making what I think appeals to everybody. And that's my thing, because I'm a hobbyist. I'm not,
Well, you're not in the mainstream.
Exactly. I
That's a
don't
little
have the
bit
property that I have to appeal to everybody. I can just do what I want.
Tim, what would you consider yourself? Mainstream or like outside the mainstream? Or
I'm definitely outside the mainstream.
Right.
He's in the upstream.
I know. I don't. Mark and I, we've never felt part of the industry because it's just so foreign to us. I mean, we work in a professional environment around like mostly academics, and there's just this. I don't know. Once you reach a certain age, it's like you become an adult, and there's just things that adults do. And we just noticed that a lot of the people that we've hanged out with who are quote unquote pros, we really do think that they're like really neurotic. And it's a certain age range too, because some of the older guys, like for example, Chuck Dixon, completely normal guy. Graham Nolan, completely normal guy. Dave Dorman, same thing. So, and you'll notice that the one thing they have in common is they're a little bit older. So it's like they came from a part of the industry where it was considered blue collar work. You just showed up, you did it. There was no ego involved. Like there was no idea that you were more than you thought you were. And then past a certain cutoff date, it's like everyone after that just felt entitled. I mean, that's just our theory in terms of explaining some of it, because there are just some days where Mark would be like, this is complete madness. Like I've just never heard a lot of like you would think in academia, the egos would be pretty big, but he was like, this is like beyond that. So we just never felt welcome. We never felt part of it, and part of us don't really want to be.
Didn't that seem to kind of stem from when like Liefeld and company ended up leaving Marvel and starting Image, where they started to, I don't know, maybe the egos existed before then, but that seems like that may have added to it. I'm not talking smack about Liefeld.
Yeah, it could be.
But where they actually, the comic artists were rising up and actually getting on the limelight. He was on TV and everything, man. Like, Liefeld was everywhere in the 90s.
Yeah, remember the Levi's commercial?
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot how much he got paid. It was like in the millions. I mean, it was a lot of money at the time for an artist to be working on it.
So Tim, how's your experience in the cons with the fans and stuff?
Oh, we love it. We love doing conventions. It's actually a highlight. We get to travel, which is really cool. We got to the point where we get invited and most of our way is paid for. Typically, we just have to pay for one thing, whether it be our travel, which is typically the case. But in a lot of instances, our booths and our hotels are paid for. So that's already taking like a huge chunk out of what we would normally have to pay for in overhead. But Texas, we try to do as many conventions as we can. We do a lot of them in the South, between Louisiana, Missouri, Arkansas. We do as many as possible, about 13 or 15 a year. Everyone's really friendly. I mentioned before that certain movements are like never mentioned at all.
No,
and
I've
that
heard
just,
that too.
yeah, it's like they don't care. Your
don't.
average comic book reader does not care about any of that type of thing.
Do you feel like?
Go ahead, Hut.
Just one more question for them. Do you feel like, as you've been doing the cons, that your appeal to the fans is growing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially on, for example, like we're really cognizant of the fact that on Twitter we have a political page because we started doing political comics, and we're aware that people who come to our booth, they probably don't even know that. They maybe have not even met us or know about us before. Maybe they bought our book one time but didn't realize that we were the same people. So we send them to Instagram because our Instagram page is pretty neutral. It's just a smorgasbord of just random stuff that we've done. And so we grow over there. So we have like a sizable following as far as like fans who meet us and want to follow us, at least on social media, they head over there. So that experience has been really good. And being able to grow that has been beneficial to the point where we have regulars. There's a couple out of San Antonio, and they have known us since our very first convention. And every time we're in San Antonio, they always take us out to eat. They're just like, hey, you know, now you're back in town, let's go out to eat. And we just take them up on it because they're just really cool. And after the election, I had to be really careful because I was like, man, you know, I won't talk politics with you unless you ask me, because it's not like I don't want to talk about it. I just know in polite company you just don't, so I don't mention it. But they were the ones who brought it up. They're like, so that book you worked on, and I was like, oh yeah, about that. And they're like, well, what's your opinion of it? Like, I guess, how did you vote? And I said, well, I need to turn that question around to you. How did you vote? And the one guy, he like showed me his like NRA membership card, and he was like, how do you think I voted? And I was like, all right, like we can stay friends. And so that took care of that one pretty quickly. But I think part of the reason why some of our friends in the industry, they don't go after us like on social media is because they know us. We've hanged around at conventions, and I think just kind of privately, they probably tell their friends like, hey, you know, that Tim and Mark guy, I know they make these Trump books, but they're like really, they're nice people when you meet them. So don't go after them because they're not going to go after you if you don't do anything.
Right.
So our experience has been pretty good. And that's why, like, I tell people, they're shocked. They're like, oh, how's it like dealing with SJWs? I said, in 2019, not a single person on the left came after us, not one on social media. But guess who did? People on the right. Now, that should tell you something. Like, that's your indicator right there that there's something wrong in the comics industry, and it's not political in nature. It's deeper than that. It's cultural. It deals with the way that habits were formed amongst certain people in the group.
Yeah, they're all just a bunch of poop heads. I think the biggest problem is, like, honestly, I think a lot of these guys that were claiming that they were run out because of their political beliefs, you can't really believe that because all their buddies now have completely different political leanings. They surround themselves with people who claim to be leftist and all this. And it seems like the reason they got run out of the industry, if they want to claim they were run out, is because of bad attitudes and poor work ethic.
100%. You're absolutely 100% correct. And honestly, I think Mark and I were suckers because we're outsiders. Like, we're part of the MAGA movement. Like, that's the one thing, that's the only movement we've been really part of because we like the president. We're really big into getting him elected. So it is political in nature. And we just thought, well, you know, our friends in academia are all conservative and they're normal people. Our friends and family members who work in other fields who are adults who voted for Trump, they're all normal people. So we just thought, okay, it's like mine. So now we have like comic conservatives and we would all be like-minded. It's like, no. We learned really quickly. It's like, I don't think you got ostracized from the industry because of your politics. It's like what the Hut said. It's like some of these guys can't get work because of other things, their attitudes, the way that they deal with people. But we learned that a little bit too late.
I love, one of my favorite videos was when the Hut was showing how one comic pro claimed that they were bullied out of the industry because of who they voted for, but they hadn't worked for the big two for like 2 years prior to the election.
Oh yeah, the pencil neck.
Yeah, I loved that video. I laughed so hard. I was like, yeah, if anybody would take a few minutes and just look at the proof, they would see that all these guys are full of crap.
That guy is what a piece of work he is. You know, he did a Facebook post. Somebody sent it to me, and he lied in the video saying that he worked in the industry for 20 years. He worked in the industry for 6 years. So I don't know what he's talking about. Because I saw his resume or his credits on that old comic book creator database. He only worked in the industry 6 years.
Well, maybe it took him 20 years to draw those books.
I think he's going off a technicality, because if you listen to him tell the story of how he broke into the industry, he was a copy boy for Marvel, if I'm not mistaken, because he's told us the story several times, like privately, where he's like, oh yeah, when I moved to New York without a dime, I just had like a car and my guitar or whatever. And it's like I would go to the Marvel offices every day, just showing them my portfolio and trying to get hired. And so I'm like, well, does that mean that I guess that's 20 years if you include trying to get in or showing up at the office? I mean, I don't know.
I bet it was real hard living on paycheck to paycheck, but from his mommy and daddy.
Yeah, and don't know much about his upbringing, but I mean, this is just me speaking personally. I think they're pretty well to do. They, you know, when Mark and I were hanging around him, now Mark can't say much about it because that's just the nature of business. It's just he doesn't even tell me a lot of things that occurred or transpired, and I don't inquire. But I just know from our meetings with them over the course of a year, they had really expensive tastes. Like, and he's talked about it on some of his streams where he's like, oh, I do everything with Mont Blanc pens. And it's like Mont Blanc pens are like $500 like each. That's not even including the refills. I'm like, can't you just use a ballpoint pen like Matt Weldon? It's like, no, you have to use the best Mont Blanc pens. I'm like, holy cow, I would be freaking broke if I did that. I think Doug's gonna play us a dirge or something.
Yeah.
You should play the Pencil Neck Blues.
I better not. I just picked up my guitar. No, I mean, like, a lot of these pros right now, they're wanting to go into crowdfunding, but it's like, okay, like somebody's talking about Sean Gord Murphy. Why is he going into crowdfunding? He's supposed to be running an imprint for DC doing Batman comics. Yeah, so is he not going to put everything into Batman comics? I mean, I just don't get where he's got time to run a crowdfunder and do that.
I don't think he's drawing it. I think he's just going to be creating the stories, and then he's going to have writers and artists do the stories.
Oh, with the DC thing.
Yeah, they're going to do that black label, and that's in a different format than just a regular comic.
I still don't understand why he'd be overcharge of that and then doing. I guess I don't understand how the world works outside of having a real job and doing this as a hobby.
I know.
It's hard for me to comprehend having enough hours in the day to do all this stuff. But Tonic Mole said something on Twitter, and I like that guy a lot because I feel like me and him's on the same page. We're just a couple of guys who like to make comic books. You know, we work a day job. And it's like, if you work for the industry, work for the industry. Stay out of the indie stuff. Leave all the indie people alone. I get tired of comic book pros being like, we're indies now. And they bring their bad habits and their bad customer service and they're huge jerks to everybody. And all it's doing is, like me and Skinny's talking earlier, it's ruining everything for the rest of us because people are backing their books. First time they ever backed a crowdfunded book is one of their books. And then they go, I'm never backing another one because that took 2 years. Right. And the dude called me a Nazi.
Right.
It broke my heart. So Ralph was doing a video where he was reading comments, and I think he ran across a comment that he didn't read before, like before he went live. And it was like, I am soured on this. Like, you were the third creator who I've backed, who I haven't gotten anything from. I've noticed how you treat people online. Like, your behavior is atrocious, and I'm never, ever backing like another crowdfunded book again. And I'm like, that hurts. Like, that hurts hard because there are people out there who they deliver on time consistently, and you've ruined it for them. Like, you've ruined it for these people who can't make it on name recognition alone. I mean, I'll just use Doug TenNapel as an example because, you know, we like him, but Doug TenNapel can get by on name recognition. He really can. Like, he knows that there's a pretty safe spot where people will show up just because it's Doug TenNapel. But if you have an independent creator who's trying to make it based on merit and it's their first time around, they lost that one person who might have given them a shot because of these other professionals. Because think about it this way, it's like you want to invest in something and it's like a gold standard. But if the gold standard doesn't work properly, why would you invest in anything lesser than the gold standard? That's the consumer mentality that they're bringing into crowdfunding. And it's unfortunate because, like, you know, I want to be able to reach out to them and be like, no, I have a laundry list of people who can get a book out on time. If that's all you're worried about, then these are some people that you can hit your money onto. You know that you're going to get a book when they tell you that they will, so you just have to trust me on it. But I think those people are lost forever. They're never coming back.
I would just to let you know, in 2018, I backed 4 different books, and the only book that wasn't late was Trump Space Force.
We were late by 3 weeks.
Well, I don't consider that late. I don't consider that late. Yeah, because I always say that 2 months is the cutoff point for me, and you guys aren't late, so.
I feel bad because at that point in time, I was listening to Big Fat Jerk, and I was like, I'm not buying this Trump book. Blah, 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 blah. And I bought it later on. Bought the, you know, when you guys re-released it through Antarctic Press, and I loved it. I was like, that's what sold me on you guys. I was like, yep, Tim. I like Tim. I not just liked you as a person at that point, but I was like, this is good stuff. And
your stuff has gotten better too, Tim.
It's not me, it's Mark. His writing gets better.
Your artwork has gotten better too.
Yeah, dude, you killed it on Soul Finder, man. Your artwork was fantastic. You and Doug absolutely that's probably my favorite crowdfunded book.
That was great, that book.
I just have to say this. So it's funny that you mention it because I'm looking at the line art for Soul Finder 2 because Matt just turned in some pages. This is nuts. This might be like this probably will be the best crowdfunded book of the year. Because you got Doug Ernst's writing on it, you got Matt Weldon's art, and then Mark and I, we're involved behind the scenes as part of like the editorial team. So we basically look at the script and we make revisions as we need to. But I mean, this is going to be like a tour de force. It's really insane.
Well, I mean, like really, after that book, the two dudes I will back, you know, no matter what. Tim and Mark, 2 dudes I'll back no matter what.
Me too.
I mean, just you can't lose on anything that you guys do. It's going to be quality work. It's all got good writing and great art, and I would recommend you guys to anybody. It doesn't matter where they stand politically or anything. I'm like, if you just want a good, fun story, that's where you go. See, look at Skinny with the bunny.
This thing is awesome too. I love this thing. For real. I've been protecting it from the dogs.
Do you like his motorcycle jacket? He's about to go to the club.
I do. I was kind of tempted to, because I noticed that there's like one string holding on his jacket in the elbow, and I'm like, should I cut it? Yeah, this was so cool, and I didn't spend an arm and a leg on it.
And we're trying to reduce our prices. I mean, I think I talked to the HUD about this on his stream, but one of the things that we promised, like when we first started doing crowdfunding, is it's like, yeah, I know our books are kind of expensive on the front end, but we're going to be very upfront. It's so that like later on we can pass the savings on to you. And for Common America, that's the reason why that book is $10, is because we were like, we just saved a lot of money. So we can take a gamble on this one and see how it turns out. And I remember I had spoken to the HUD privately, and I was like, do you think we're crazy by having this book be $10? And he was like, you're going to get a lot of people showing up, because any person who didn't want to get it based on cost, that suddenly is out the window. Like now there's no excuse.
Exactly.
And it worked.
I said it's just basically, you know, the free market. If you have a good product and you lower the price, more people are going to buy it. And look what happened on Kickstarter. You guys you killed ass. I mean, you kicked ass over there.
You guys murdered it on Kickstarter.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I mean, it's good because we were able to pass that savings on again. Because like, you know, the big surprise that we kept to ourselves was we upgraded to a holographic cover. And like, we don't save any of that money for ourselves. We pass everything on to the consumer. And so anything we have left over, we're either going to upgrade the book or we're going to put it towards the next book. And that's why we don't have stretch goals. It's kind of like, you guys have been so kind to give us money. What we do for you is we just keep the price as low as we can go and hopefully just improve it as we go along. It's kind of like the Doug to Napalm model, where it's like, hey, you guys get a fancy box. You didn't have to pay extra for it. I just threw that in there because, we have the means to do it, so why not?
But guess who's charging $200 for a fancy box now?
Doug Garrett?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Doug's doing it.
I went to Taco Bell and got like a taco party box of 10 tacos. And for $200, you can get my leftover box with a comic book in it.
But speaking of boxes, I don't know if Doug wants to talk about too much, but he was running some ideas by me the other day that actually sounded really cool, and I'm really hoping you're considering that.
Yeah, dude, I got all kind of crazy ideas. If we can make it to the rest of this year, you guys are going to see some crazy stuff from me and my buddies.
There's a lot of parallel thinking going on. For example, like you guys released like the Napalm Brothers, I think maybe a week or two before us, and you have a $10 price point also. And then I noticed I think John Della Rose had a $10 price point. And I don't think any of us were like copying each other. We were all on the same page. It was like, hey, there's all these people who are looking at the big like professional crowdfunders and they're getting like a 30-page book or whatever for like $30. You can come over here and get like a 30 or 40-page book for like $10. Why not?
If you guys price it at $25, you're never going to be able to compete.
Right.
So if you lower the prices as you go along, you're going to be able to maybe not make as much money as you'd like, but probably bring in more backers, and it builds up everything you have. So it's not a situation where, like, if you're in it for the long haul, like I would expect Doug wants to do, to start out at a very even price and just bring in people. The most important thing with Doug is to bring in new people. So I noticed with his first campaign with Lone Wolf, I don't know the numbers, but I know that he brought in more people the second book with the Legends of the Lone Wolf. And I would expect that Napalm Brothers, if the story is good and people like it, I've seen the story and it's good, but if people really like it, he's going to bring in more people for that second campaign, especially with it being on time and everything else.
I'll just tell you, man, when you see this book in print, it's going to blow you. I mean, because the PDF is one thing.
Right.
It came out so good in print, man. It blew my mind. When people get this book, they get the 100-pound covers with the 80-pound pages. They're going to go, this is better quality than anything I can pick up at the comic shop for $5. Plus, it's got the awesome ash can. It's not about making $1 million.
Right. It's
not about, I would love to have a new house. I live in a single wide trailer and it's a dump. Just, but just between us. But that's not what it's about. I'm not doing this to make $1 million. If we can build up a crowd and we can just do this for fun and keep doing it for as long as we want to, that's all that matters.
It's always about the people anyway.
Exactly.
Even with the big crowdfunders, if you bring in more people every time, then you're in good shape.
I can say, yeah, we have a good time for the most part. I'm having a good time with my artists, good time doing things with Doug and other folk. Actually, at this point, I got 3 little stories going all at once. I don't know how the hell that happened.
And I just tell you guys, and I say a lot, and it's the absolute truth. I don't know how I could get stuff done if it wasn't for Skinny. Skinny is the unsung hero of Legends of the Lone Wolf. That dude has just like stepped up and just formatted pages, lettered crap. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what the dude has done, and didn't make a dime. He did it for nothing. He just done it because he's a good dude.
I just did it because you're my friend. Don't be saying that like I'm going to do that for anybody.
Don't be asking Skinny to do stuff because he's my friend.
Are you guys going to start hugging now?
Yeah.
We're already hugging. You just can't see it.
Get in a room, you two.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
seriously though, if there's any creators out there who need a hand with formatting or lettering, reach out to me. We'll talk.
Did they be that really cool font, Skinny?
Yeah. He hooked me up.
One thing I've noticed though is like a lot of us are way cooler than everybody else because behind the scenes there's a lot of people helping each other, and it's like, hey, if you need this, here, look at this, check this out, and then you got a bunch of other guys who are like, we're all a big movement, and they're asking people like Tim where to get their books printed.
That made me so mad, like unbelievably mad. Because, for example, like Skinny, it was really funny because he and I were talking, and both of us kind of taught ourselves how to letter out of necessity. And he was like, hey, what do you think about this? And I felt like a drug dealer because I was like, you want the really good shit? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I got the $100 font, like the really good font. He was like, can I have some? I was like, yeah. So I like shared this file with him. I don't know, it was like Skinny, like 3 or 4 like really expensive fonts. But I'm just like, shit, I paid like a licensing fee for that. I mean, I might as well like share the wealth with some other people, because what am I gonna do? Like I paid for it. I might as well let more people use the license while they can. But that's like, that's one of those things where he and I were talking and we just shared that information because it's there. And that's why it annoys me when this guy was like, hey man, who do you use for your printer, man? I'm like, don't you have a network of pros that you hang out with all day and then talk bad about us with? Like, and then now you're coming to me asking who my printer is? Like,
You're
why
like
don't you ask
the
them?
heroin addicts on Dave Chappelle was talking about on his last one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just it's ridiculous how many people are all like, we're the new industry, and then they can't even format their books or do all this stuff and ask people that they make fun of for help because they know that they make good books.
Or that book's stuck in China.
And it's the funniest thing because, like, so Doug, you and Skinny like format books, right? Like you use like either Clip Studio or maybe InDesign or whatever it might be. That's another one I get a lot of questions on. And I think even Richard was like that too, where he was like, hey man, how do you format a page for digital pre-press? I'm like, why are you asking me? Like, don't you hang around these people who like do this for a living? Like, it's just bizarre. And then here we are, like, kind of teaching ourselves how to do it. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, dude, on Lone Wolf issue 1, I had to format that book, and I had to teach myself everything. Nobody was, at that point, I wasn't really friends with a lot of people that knew how to do anything, that weren't like, the only people I knew were huge jerks, and they didn't know what they were doing either. And, I just had to figure it out, and it sucked. I was scared to death that my book was going to look like poop. It was, you guys don't even know. I could go on for hours talking about the troubles that we had, but everything come out all right. Just I had to learn something. And at my age, I hate learning stuff. Eric Hawkins says I had to learn all that stuff on my own. If you guys haven't read Eric Hawkins' book, The Zombiful World of Oz, it's free on the Comics Underground. And the dude he wrote the story, did all the art, and colored it himself. And it's one of my favorite books that I've read in a long time.
How long has it been on the Comics Underground? Because I was just there like last week and I didn't see it there.
Just posted it the other day.
Oh, okay.
So you can, you can download it for free, and it's awesome. It's well worth downloading. And if any of you guys didn't see, like Eric, I don't know if you saw it because you're there in the chat. John Della Rose was showing how to use the Kindle thing to format books for to go on the Comixology app. So get on there and check that out, because I'm going to use that, and I'm going to try to get Lone Wolf issue 1 on Comixology.
That's good to know, because I've wondered about that, because we're supposed to be putting our books on Comixology.
So you can list them and it'll just show the page, but he was using that Comic Creator where you can, because my favorite thing I'll get my tablet and I've got Comixology, and you can set up that view where it just goes panel by panel.
Mm-hmm.
And he was showing how to set up the pages on that. and make it go panel by panel. It was pretty cool.
Do you prefer it personally to go panel by panel, or do you just want to see the whole page?
I go panel by panel because I can't see. I mean, even if I'm wearing my glasses, like if you go by the page, you have to scroll down and zoom in on stuff. In panel by panel, it just makes it easier. But John was also saying right now, Comixology has a 60-day free trial. So go check that out. The Unlimited does. There's some really awesome stuff on Unlimited that you can read.
That's cool. What I like about I can't even think of the last time I downloaded a comic on Comixology, but the Kindle comics, I like them because I'm a bit different. I don't like the panel by panel. I just like to have the whole page on one screen and then just kind of scroll on my own. So, but I know that Comixology is like a really good hub for a lot of digital comics. So, we probably have to get with the time as far as that's concerned. Hey, Hut, do you read a lot of digital?
No, I don't actually. But I won't have a meltdown though over it.
I don't prefer digital, honestly, myself.
I try not to use the F-bomb when I can. I'm sorry. I wish I hadn't even mentioned it, Tim.
The what bomb?
The F-bomb. I don't want to get upset, because some people that use that talk about digital comics get very upset.
Yeah, or it's like forced cursing. They're like never.
I think at this point, I think I'm going to find Richie probably in the nervous hospital.
Yeah, and it's like kind of ironic because he coined that term for forced cursing. Yeah, and I was like, I don't know, you really dropped some major bombs in that video.
I can see Richie on the floor rolling around like Curly from the Three Stooges doing that video. Right. And screaming at that volleyball he calls Ethan.
So me and Mega McCheese came up with an idea on the first stream I did today. We're going to get the license for School of Rock. We're going to make it where they're in hell. So it's going to be School of Rock in hell.
Or what you could do. Have you ever played Brutal Legend?
I have played that with Jack Black.
Yeah.
I hate that game.
So what you could do is School of Rock mixed with Brutal Legend.
No, but we want it in hell.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it could be rock and heavy metal hell.
The only reason we brought it up is because I used to get random messages from girls telling me I look like Jack Black all the time. They'd be like, "Hey, you look like Jack Black. You want to take me out sometime?" I'd be like, "No."
Do you take that as a compliment?
It doesn't bother me.
I don't like Jack Black at all. If someone told me that, I'd be like, I'm going to go hunt you down.
It doesn't.
Tim, you just broke my heart. How can you not love Jack Black?
I want a refund for Common America right this very
moment. Oh, man. I really put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah.
Don't get a refund. Just burn it and then pee on the ashes.
It's okay. I'll just do a Twitter rant and just expose them. And then I'll at Jack Black saying like, dude, this guy does not like your work. I don't know why.
I don't think Jack Black would give a flip though. We played. Well, it wasn't my band. I was signed to an indie label several years ago, and my band went to see one of our label mates play. And while we were there, we were sitting upstairs, and this drunk lady, she just kept staring at me. I mean, she was an older lady. She just kept staring at me. She finally walks over to me and asks me if I was Jack Black. I busted out laughing. I'm like, "No, ma'am, I'm not." I should have been like, "Yeah," and just started doing a little bunch of crazy stuff, but I didn't. Could have had me an old girlfriend that night, though, probably. Dave in the chat says I can't handle Jack Black either.
Dave, way to go.
I don't know, man. With all the live streams that you do, Doug, I think people would think that you would be Jack Black. If you just like impersonate his voice, I think you'll be good.
I've got too much of a man voice to sound like Jack Black.
Well then.
And I'm too Southern.
Oh my gosh, this is so weird. So while we were talking, I was looking at the Udon store because now and then they have some pretty good deals on like their Street Fighter comics and stuff. But guess what just popped up? It turns out that they have the license to Brutal Legend.
Who has a license to Brutal Legend?
Udon.
Udon, really?
They published their art book, The Art of Brutal Legend.
Oh, okay.
Did they do a Mega Man comic?
They did.
I bought that for my brother for Christmas because he loves Mega Man. I couldn't remember. I just remember buying the comic. I couldn't remember who done it.
They're so the Udon books, like I know a lot of people when they talk about indies, they always skip Udon because I think they kind of fly under the radar. But if you want like a comic company that's remained consistently good since the 90s, it's Udon. Like their writing staff, their art staff, like none of that's changed. Like their quality has always been top notch. I always say it to people that it's like entry level manga for like comic book readers who are like, I don't know how to get into manga, or I don't like manga because it's black and white. I'm like, start with Udon books because like Street Fighter is a colored comic and it has like a manga style to it, but it's not quite manga. It's still like an American comic reading from left to right. But their stuff is so good, and that's why like every 2 months or so I'll go over there and see if they have any deals or anything on their books.
I believe the Mega Man comic was actually is not American. I believe it was Japanese.
It was they had two versions of it. I think the IDW they got the license to publish. I think it was the IDW version, and then the Mega Mix was Japanese. They just translated it.
Okay, I couldn't remember which one. I was looking for, and now this is just a completely different tangent there because I'm going to, wasn't it Archie Comics had the license for Mega Man at one point?
Yeah,
those are supposed to be really, really good, but they're so hard to find. I was kind of hoping IDW would like republish those.
Oh man, you should have hit up Mark. So Mark, a few years ago, I don't know what happened. He gave his entire Archie collection of Mega Man books to a store. He had the whole run.
I hate Mark.
I know. I'm gonna tell him that too. Be like, you're a freaking idiot. He also gave away his whole Spawn collection, Spawn issue 1 to whatever. He didn't ask for any money or store credit. He just like gave it to them.
Dang. I've been to that point though with comic books before. I had a ton of Batman stuff, and I don't know what it was. I was just done. And I pretty much just gave them to a friend, and I wish I still had them. It was stupid just to give those away.
I lost most of my early collection just moving back and forth after the divorce. You lose a lot of crap when you move all the time.
Wait, you got a divorce?
Well, no, not me, my parents.
Oh, I was about to be like, Skinny, I'm sorry. Like, I had no idea.
Oh, no, I haven't achieved freedom yet, so I'm working my way up to it. My wife is awesome. She also helps a lot with the comic books and whatnot too.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, I still see her pop up on Twitter and stuff. I was like shocked. Gave me like a little heart attack there.
No, we're fine and dandy. We're happy.
All right, good.
The only thing is, Skinny, is I'm starving to death.
Oh yeah, I'm starving. I just had chicken fingers and a sandwich, but I'm so damn hungry.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's kind of an inside joke for us, Doug.
Yeah.
Nobody really understands what we're even talking about.
I know. It's still funny to me.
I guess for anybody who doesn't know, my grandmother has dementia. She got to the point where she doesn't remember that she's eaten. I guess her brain and stomach aren't communicating. So she's like got the hunger. She's like a 90-year-old zombie at this point. And yeah, like I was on a hangouts with Doug, and I made her chicken tenders for supper and some other stuff. She ate that, and like 15 minutes later, she comes back when I'm trying to talk to Doug and format this book. She's like, I'm still hungry. And I'm like, okay.
He's like, I haven't eaten all day. And
Yeah,
finished.
I haven't eaten all day. I'm like, you had breakfast, lunch, a snack, and dinner. And she's like, I'm just so hungry. So I felt bad. I got her up and I made her a sandwich. I came back and I sat back down, and like less than 2 minutes later, right after she ate the sandwich, she comes back again. I'm so hungry. I'm starving. I'm like, all right, now I got to cut you off because she will eat herself sick. Like, so she's not literally starving. She just thinks she is.
God bless her heart. It was so funny that one day she got mad at Skinny and she's fussing, and then she wrote him that big long letter. That letter, it was the sweetest thing I've ever seen.
It is because when she gets angry and stuff, I just tell her, I was like, Mama, you just need to try to be happy. Because she just, I don't know. I don't know if it's a dementia or if she was always just mean as hell. But she always just focuses on the negative of everything.
I don't know, but that one day I think it was right after you fed her the last time she come in there and she said, "I'm so sorry. I know you're taking care of me. I'm so sorry."
Yeah. Yeah, those times make it worth it. But I'm on vacation right now, so she ain't my problem.
I can't wait till I get crazy and drive my family insane.
Oh my
Me
god.
too, man. I'm looking forward to it. If they put me in a home, I'm going to haunt them for the rest of their lives.
I'll be in a home because I don't have any kids and I don't expect my nephews to take care of me, so I'll be in a home somewhere.
I'll put in my will that my kids have to take care of you too, Doug.
There you go.
Like, you inherited an old Tennessee man.
Congratulations.
Oh, man.
So how's everybody's day?
Oh, it's pretty good. How you doing, Igthus?
I'm doing good. It's just right now my brain is like in promo mode for for my comic for the corona. I was about to say coronavirus, the Corona Kings project. So yeah, I've been reaching out to a few creators and see if I could get like any interview spots as well as to have the Corona Kings project to be well aware. Hopefully, by then there'll be like a third issue.
Yeah, I can't wait till that's done and everybody gets to see I've seen those bits and pieces of what everybody's working on.
Yeah,
It's going to be a lot of fun.
hell
I
yeah.
actually kind of want to, if it's cool with everybody, I want to print free copies and give away with stuff.
I'd be cool with that. I actually wanted to see, to talk to Fly Fox. Because eventually I want to take like a lot of these little shorts and whatnot that I'm working on and just kind of publish them all in one little thing.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that too, Doug. So don't worry about that.
So I was just thinking like just doing like, because it's going to be like a zine. I was thinking about just doing black and white, like photocopy, free little punk rock books.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like, hey, if we ever get to go back to having cons and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of giving them away with a bunch of my stuff.
Oh, that will be easy for you. Mine is going to be black and white, so you're set.
Yeah, I talked to the artist on mine. I think we're gonna go black and white with just very little color. Since for some reason I went ultraviolet with my little short thing, so it's gonna be black and white with just a few, maybe some red or some gun flashes or something here and there.
It might be because, you're just in the house all day because of the whole coronavirus situation. So I can totally understand.
Well, what's funny though is I've been outside more since this whole thing went on than I live way out in the middle of nowhere, so
Yeah, of course.
they off on me, so I just run around outside all day. I'm like, I don't have to work. There ain't no reason sitting in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering now where my dog went because I've been streaming for 2 hours. I'm sure he's got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Where you at?
I think I might color my story. But I think I'm going to kind of do what Jameson did, Doug. I want
Print
to
it and then color it and scan it.
But I want to use actual crayons to color it.
That would be awesome.
I think it would fit the art style and the book itself because it's a story about Ralph.
I do too. I think it would be awesome. I think I kind of want to do a story and then make it a coloring book.
That's not a bad idea.
I love Ralph.
I think you're the only one, Tim.
I love him with all of my body, including my
Oh,
butt.
all right. I still have yet to know Ralph, so
Yeah. Go to the Needle Mover Society on YouTube,
okay.
and which I think that Skinny hasn't posted there in the chat in a while. I don't think Skinny's on the Needle Movers right now.
What, the Facebook group?
No, I was talking about your YouTube channel, the Needle Movers one.
Oh no, I'm just
Alright.
in StreamYards right
But there's a bunch of Ralph videos on there, and that's where we do the I kind of believe thing, and we need to get back to doing Drawn and Tortured on there.
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
I miss doing that. I really do. It's just so hard to find the time, especially with us all working.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, that was before I worked third shift all the time when we used to do that.
Yeah. And that was also before I got this promotion at work that decided to stab me in the butt and make me be there at 5 o'clock in the morning most days of the week. Fun.
I'm glad nobody stabbed me in the butt.
And I will say that anybody who says you can get used to waking up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning is a psychopath, and you should call the authorities. I've been doing these kind of shifts for years, and there's no getting used to them. I can get used to like 6 or 7, but waking up before the sun comes up just ain't right. It's not natural.
Yeah.
I don't like it either. Well, like I said, I'm not going to be able to go back to work. I'm used to sleeping 12 hours a day now. I didn't get up till 9:30 this morning, which surprised me because Axel usually comes in my room at 7:30, and he's like, "It's time to get up. We're going outside." Today he slept on the couch. I got up. I thought, is he dead? Where is he? And he's on the couch. Guys, I think I'm going to wrap this stream up. I've been streaming for over 2 hours.
Woo.
And if today's like tomorrow, if tomorrow is like today, and I get to pack in books, I'll probably stream 2 or 3 times tomorrow. And any of you guys are welcome. Just pop in, and I'll drop the link in the chat.
Cool. Sounds good.
I'm not entirely sure what I'm working tomorrow. I don't know if it's changed, whether or not I'll actually get off at 2. But if I am, yeah, definitely. Send me the link.
Awesome.
I'll have Preston Poulter on my channel tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Okay, I won't stream then, so I won't be any
Oh,
competition.
no, you can. It's all right. It's not a problem.
I'll stream snipe you and send all my followers over.
3 o'clock, is that New York time or is that Central time?
New York time.
Okay,
So that's
2 o'clock here.
You'll say New York time or real time.
That's like the only time that matters. Hut
That's
time.
right.
Hut time. Yeah, but like I said, thanks for popping in, guys. I had a good time hanging out with you.
Hey, Doug, I want you to come on my channel
Yeah, well, I need to do that.
and play a banjo for everybody.
I will. I'll play the banjo right here.
Oh shoot.
Banjo! We'll do it. Just shoot me a DM and we'll figure out when, and I'll come on.
Okay.
Bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, probably next week, I think.
Okay. But so everybody in the chat, if you don't know who everybody here is, then I'm sorry. I'm not gonna introduce everybody. We've been talking for hours. But go follow all these people. Go check out their YouTube. Skinny's Needle Movers. And of course the Comic Book Hut. If you're not following the Comic Book Hut and watching his videos, you're really missing out on a bunch of stuff that's hilarious and sad all at the same time. And then of course Igthu's here. He's an up and comer. He's cranking out a comic about pro wrestling Gators. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be in the Corona Kings. He's a regular here in my chat. He's a good dude. Go check him out. Then of course we got Tim Lim. His book Common America is shipping out. They're about to relaunch on Indiegogo. Go follow Tim. Tim's one of my favorite comic creators and probably my favorite Asian. So
Even when I give you the Rona.
Ralph's still mad about that.
it's the gift that keeps on giving, Tim.
Well, tell Ralph he shouldn't have killed my uncle in Nam.
Well, I thought it was your father.
No, it was my father in Korea.
Oh,
His
that
uncle,
makes a big
man.
difference.
Ralph might be gunning for you next, yeah.
I'm ready for him. You try to steal my bidet, Ralph? I know where you are.
Well, no, just be wary if you ever hear it.
I'm not going to turn my back to him.
You just
Better
gotta
one.
watch it.
Yep, you better watch out with those gators too.
But we'll see you all. You all have a good night. Bye.
Bye.